And we're live. We're live. Can you guys hear me? This is a complete test here. Yeah, welcome to Festival. I'm Phil. I'm going to fill you in about whiskey. So, what I want to do today is I kind of want to talk about, because it's just we've gone through summer here in New Zealand, and I want to talk about. My speaker is coming back at me. I want to talk about some of the whiskies I've been going to over summer because it's been interesting. Like, there's sort of a difference between what your whiskies are on your shelf and then the actual whiskies you're grabbing, and especially like when it's hot and humid. But I know like most people who are watching are probably from the Northern Hemisphere. So anyway, I literally just decided like 10 minutes ago to do a live stream. I was like, I set it up, see what happens. Should be fun. And little not much notice. I'm thinking I'll do a live stream tomorrow as well, actually just about my whole collection. I saw No Nonsense Whiskey do a video about his whole collection, and it was quite good. So what's everyone? I'm Adelaide. Hey random FPV. Hey Milos. It's 36, 40 degrees. Man, I would not survive in 40 degrees. Both my brothers live in Australia, and my older brother the other day, like he was out in the garden. I think he was like just on the phone, and this massive python was just in the back of his garden, which is just, we're in New Zealand. We just have no predators. We have like, what do we have? A possum, bumblebee. Like there's actually not as much. Anyway, what's everyone going on? What's happening? 12 people. Awesome. This is great. So I want to talk about some of the summer whiskies, some of like what I've been going to. And I mean, one of the first ones has just been the Glenkinchie. I've been, good evening, or should I say good morning? Actually, he said that about pythons. He said that, because I mean, he's a Kiwi as well. So he's just like freaking out. And then afterwards, like the snake catcher person came and stuff. It was like a massive one. And in the end, he was like, it was real chill. Like the python was just completely chill. It was just chilling out in the sun, and it was all fine. But me as a New Zealander, I'm just like, no. 4 degrees in Warsaw. Wow. What time is it in Warsaw? Is it like 9 p.m.? Hey, Alex. Thanks. Thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Checking. Oh, Canada. I absolutely love Canada. I have Canada on my wall. Can't really see it because my big head's in the way. There we are. That's Pater Lake. We drove up from Vancouver. We stayed with friends in Vancouver, and we drove all the way up to Banff. And man, it's beautiful. Like we had a little camper van, and just waking up, like the snowy mountains, the elk, like crossing like the road and stuff. So good. California. Oh, nice. How is it in California? Is there lockdowns over there? I've actually always wanted to work in California because, as some of you know, my background is in video editing and that sort of thing. And like two of the places of the world is kind of LA or London. And I ended up choosing London because my mother's Northern Irish and I had the passport. So I went there from like 2015 to 2018. And that's where I got into whiskey. That's what sucked me in. Got there. We visited Scotland and I completely got sucked into whiskey. They're just saying, screw it. Yeah. Right? 4 degrees in Warsaw. Canada, California. Oh, Whiskey Central's in. Hey, how's it going? You're still in Mexico, right? You guys should definitely go follow Whiskey Central as well. She's a fantastic channel. And I know actually most of you probably will end up watching this on the replay because I literally were just like, I should just go live. Let's just see what happens. And so probably most of you will end up watching this replay. And if you are, make sure you go follow Whiskey Central. Subscribe, follow, all that stuff. It's a hot spot in the US. Yeah. I mean, I feel like, in New Zealand, we're just so lucky because we don't have it here. And then every so often we kind of just sort of forget sometimes what it's like around the world with the virus, and especially with my friends in London. Like, I mean, I think about Roy as well. Like he's probably all locked down, but in New Zealand, we have been able to keep it out for now. So it's been pretty good. Oh, Whiskey Straight Hell. Hey, how's it going? Good to have you in. And Justin from Palmy North, hiding in a man cave, avoiding helping the wife fast work. Yeah. Are you talking about you? Are you talking about you? Or are you talking about me? Because we both could be doing that, maybe. Daniel O'Brien clicked on YouTube, saw you doing a live stream, poured myself. Oh, yeah, good idea. So, what's everyone? I know it's like times all over the world and stuff, but is anyone having a dram? What are you pouring yourself? So, my first one is Glenkinchie. I mean, I said in one of my video with top whiskies of 2020 that I was like, most of them were unchill filter, natural color, bottled at 46%. But sometimes in summer, you don't actually want to have a really powerful cask strength 46% whiskey. Often you're kind of going towards the lighter and fruitier whiskies. And so I've got a bunch of my favorite ones here, including this one here, which you'll have to watch the end of the live stream because it is definitely my favorite. It's like blowing me away. I'd never had the whiskey before. It's not from Scotland. There's a clue. And it is very, very yum. So I'm going to have Glenkinchie. I already took that off. Yeah, I like this one because you get like the maltiness and the light fruitiness on the nose. And it's just, it's lovely. It's lovely. Cheers. Can you give an explanation of what you're tasting when you say you're getting a cereal note, like breakfast cereal? Oh, okay. Cereal, I'm kind of thinking like it's that sort of, if you think of like a like muesli, I'm probably more talking about muesli than not like Cocoa Pops and what is it, Fruit Loops and stuff. I'm talking about that sort of the oats, the kind of in muesli bars, either sunflower seeds, also that kind of, it's sort of like a mustiness, sort of a dry mustiness, a breadiness as well. Like it's sort of like, when you got toast, one of those like pieces of bread with like heaps of grain in it. That's sort of what I'm talking about when I say it's got cereal notes. This doesn't have cereal notes. See, there's a little bit. There's a little bit of cereal notes. One of my first whiskeys is Glenkinchie. Yeah, it's good. I mean, and this is a whiskey that when people come around, like who sort of, they drink a little bit of whiskey but they're still quite new to the whole thing. It is one of the ones I will often pull a dram of because I think it's very tasty. Am I missing anything? Picked a Glenlivet 12 on clearance, so trying it out. Yeah, Glenlivet's good too. Again, it's light, and I know some people think that it's kind of too light, but Ralphie actually gave it quite a good score recently, and actually it was quite interesting. I bought the Glenlivet and I was like, oh yeah, nice. And then I watched the Ralphie video. I sat down, I had the dram, and he was like, you know what he's like, just like all these notes, and I was like, oh yeah, there's apple, oh yeah, there's this and this, and then suddenly I was like, actually, this is actually quite a nice whiskey, because I actually went to the Glenlivet distillery when I was living in the UK, and I had so much fun. My favorite whiskey at the time we tried there was the Nadora. It's like a cask strength Nadora, and I think it's aged in like peated casks, so it's very, very yummy, very good, like oatmeal almost. Yeah, like oatmeal. Yeah, that's it. I just bought some Turkey 101, Jameson, Glenfiddich. So yeah, there's two kind of categories for the summer whiskies, and one is like the ones I sort of like drink neat, but some of these I could have a cube of ice with as well, especially if it's very hot. And then I've got sort of other whiskies like the Jameson, my sort of mixes whiskies that I don't want to really, I don't want to spend my good money that I've, I don't want to dilute whiskey that I've spent good money on. So I want to go something that's a bit cheaper. So this is really good with ginger ale, bit of lime, bit of ice. And then, yeah, exactly what you said, wild turkey. And this one's fantastic. Yeah, it's good with ice on the rock. So this is the one I often get home from work and it's been a long day. And this is one I just chuck in the ice, watch a movie. It's quite good. Just finished watching the Water of Life live stream. Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah. I just saw that on Roy's thing yesterday talking about it. I never got, but I was at work at the time and I didn't write down the time and stuff. So was that good? Was the movie good? So there's basically, for those who don't know, there's actually this movie that's come out called The Water of Life, and the trailer looks fantastic. See, I actually come from a video background. I do kind of TV commercials and stuff for a living. And when I saw that, I was like, yeah, this actually looks really, really good. I think they've done a great job. The editing looks fantastic. The shooting looks fantastic. But actually the storytelling, that's the most important part. It seems like they've got a good story through it. Jameson's great mixer. Yeah, it is. Jameson's great. It's good because like you can just buy 3 or 4 bottles. They're always on special. There's Peyton Gray, Justin. Hey, Martin. Good to have you here. Living in London and thinking of doing distillery tour once lockdown is over. Can you recommend a good one to start with? So if you're new to whiskey, I mean, this one right here is no, not this one. This one, Glenkinchie 12. That's a good one to start with. When you're starting out with whiskey, your palate does play a big part. So for some people, when they first start out, smoky whiskeys they love, and that's what drew me in. I actually didn't like. I had a mate who was really into whiskey, gave me a few drams, and I didn't really like it. And it wasn't until he gave me the Lefroy that that I was like, oh, okay, this is kind of interesting. And then we went on the whiskey trip, went to Lagerville, and this is Lagerville. You can get this print on my website, by the way, the photography, if you want one as well. And so hang on, I'll just everyone hold 3 seconds because it's just on the shelf. So being London in winter, I mean, you could try this. I mean, there's a high chance you might not like it, but actually, I mean, it's smoky, but once you get past the smoke, it's actually quite an easy drink. I know it sounds weird, easy drinking, but like, it's not like it has it's not very spirity. You know what I mean? Like when you first get into it, sometimes a lot of alcohol, it's just the alcohol burn. The alcohol burn's not that bad. The smoke is intense. The smoke's very intense. But try it, because if you've eaten a lot of smoky food throughout your life, you might actually like it. Whereas otherwise, I'd say go for a Glenkinchie, go for a Glenlivet 12. What else would I recommend? Oban 14, Balvenie. I'd say just in terms of your budget, because you might not know what you like yet, go for the Glenlivet, or the 3 Glens, often good. Glenfiddich, Glenlivet, and Glenmorangie. Generally, those 3 are being starter whiskies for a lot of people. But I actually wishing you well in London. A lot of my friends live in London. I lived in London for 4 years, and I'm really thinking about you guys at the moment. It's almost hard being here in New Zealand where it's all like no COVID and stuff, and seeing all the people in London being locked up and just this COVID thing getting out of control. And my wife's worked in healthcare when she was over there as well, so she knows the reality it is for a lot of those nurses as well. So I do feel, but as soon as I can go back to London, I want to go. I just love that city. I absolutely love it. Let's read some more comments because I've just been bantering. Nadora is lovely. I do love the Nadora. The Peter Cask one, I think it was like 63% or something. Like massive whiskey. But it didn't feel like a 63% for some reason. Have you seen Whiskey Tribes do Earl Grey seeped Jamesons? No, I haven't. That does sound interesting, though. I have heard of, because I know they put tea and stuff in other drinks, gins and stuff, but no, I haven't seen that. Have you experienced with homemade blends? Yes, I have experienced it. What I actually need is an infinity bottle. I don't actually have one. Where is it? This is my current infinity bottle. It's actually a jar because there's not actually enough whiskey for me to make it, because I'm just worried I'll oxidize it too much. But there is the Kraken. So I'm just having like this basic Kraken rum at the moment. I'm hoping once I finish this, I'll rip the sticker off and I will slap on a nice Aquavitae sticker. Does it still focus when I'm live streaming? Yes. Yeah, I'll slap that on and that will become my infinity dram. That's what Roy recommended. So, Roy's pretty much the Gandalf of YouTube. Whisky, isn't he? Is this audio peaking for anyone? Because I have no idea. And like, is it too quiet or anything? Just tell me if like, because I can do things. I've got my gadgets. Where are we up to? Movie was really good. You enjoy the presentation, Phil. Well crafted. I've streamed live streams every evening the next couple of days, 9 p.m. London time. Awesome. I'm actually really looking forward to watching it. Yeah, I feel like that's what the whiskey. I feel like it's weird we've sort of waited this long for something like that. There's been a few other ones I've watched and they've been okay, but this one actually looks like a really fun one for people who love whiskey. That's documentary called The Water of Life. There's a new documentary out for people who've joined and stuff called The Water of Life. Just got a bottle of Lefroy 10, Ardbeg, Ugadale, and Lagavulin 16. Compared all three as my first step into Islay and loved it and got a minty finish after coming back from Lagavulin. It's from Peyton. That's fantastic. So that's what I'm saying. Some people are like, don't have peat when you get into whiskey. And then you get people like this, just straight into an Ugadale, you know. It's so good. They're all delicious. The Lagavulin is fantastic. 10's fantastic. That's great. Peathead. You got to join the Peathead Club. Just watched Golden Dream recently. Great watch, a few drams. Oh, okay. No, I haven't seen. Just watched Scotch, A Golden Dream. I haven't actually seen that either. Maybe I'm just out of the loop. I'm out of the loop with all these Scotch documentaries. Not too many come to New Zealand. What are your top 5 whiskies? Mine will be Arran 10, Deanston 12, Lagavulin 16, Ardbeg 10, and Kilkerran 8. That's a really good lineup. Have I missed anyone's comments? Because I'm just like randomly looking at it. Hi, Phil, new to whiskey. No, so read you. Top 5 whiskies. Top 5 whiskies. I agree with you about Deanston 12. It is really nice whiskey. It's got that maltiness to it. My next top whiskey, look, and this one's a bit controversial. Some people think this is overhyped, this is overrated, but I love the Octomore. And if you like peat, was it Peyton that was talking about peat? When you go down your whiskey journey, and you go by and you want to really go down the peat thing. So I think Lefroy is like 26 or something parts per million peaty, like how smoky it is, and like the actual barley. No, in the actual whiskey, they do some scientific tests, and that's how they test how smoky it is. This one is the Octomore. It's a 5-year-old. It's 59.5% alcohol. And I'm just trying to see the parts per million, 208. So big whiskey. So that's one of that'll be my top 5. Rest of my top 5. British Springbank 12. That's a pretty classic one. Boonhaven 12, definitely. Boonhaven 12 is such a good go-to. Port Charlotte 10, that would be up there. That's probably my favourite go-to. Although I've done 2 products, I've done Optimal and Port Charlotte. If I just group them together as one, what else would I say would be my favorite? It'd be a sort of a tie between the Kilkerran 12 and the Glencadam 10. Both of them sort of, are really interesting, fantastic malts, and I think anyone should try them, especially the Glencadam 10. I think it's a little bit underrated. I feel like it doesn't go around, but I know in some countries, pour a dram Octomore. I could pour a dram Octomore. I'd love to pour a dram Octomore. But I was going to talk about summer whiskies, or would you guys just rather just banter? Because we can just keep bantering. I'll just answer your questions. Or shall I quickly smash through my summer whiskies? Port Charlotte is great. Yeah, it's my goat as well. It's a very nice goat, well-behaved goat. Actually, no, slightly naughty goat, isn't it? Punches you a little bit. Any Talisker lovers? I do. Talisker, I've been to Talisker as well. If I get a photo, because I do photography, I've been to a lot of these places. On the Isle of Skye, beautiful, beautiful place. We went to Talisker Distillery, and my favorite Talisker is actually the 57 North, the cask strength one, which I cannot find in New Zealand absolutely anywhere. But that was my favorite, and I was there, and I was sort of a bit, I was being a bit kind of stingy, and I was just like, oh nah, I don't need to buy one, and I definitely regret that. I definitely should have bought that when I was there. Talisker's great. Oh, what do we got? Probably misspelled all of that. I don't know if you did. That's all good. Knew what you meant. Glenmorangie 10 was your first. Yeah, there you go. So who was asking before about whiskies to get into? Glenmorangie 10. Justin, that was one of his first ones. Yeah, not good here, but hopefully we over soon. Yeah. I really hope for you guys in London. That'll be over soon. Ads to the Port Charlotte 10, great dram. Audio is good. Audio is great. Fantastic. That is brilliant because I have no idea. This is the first live stream. And by the way, I'm going to do a live stream tomorrow, have a bit more notice, put a thing up so more people can join because now a lot of people, this has just been bounced on you. So thanks for joining, spontaneously joining me. I just bought the 2020 DE, but I really love the 10. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I love the 10 too. I want Octomore so bad. Yeah, I need that in my podger. Yes, it is definitely a beast without water. Yeah, I do love it though. It's very fantastic. It's got that sort of salty, minerally note, the Talisker 57, which I really like. Nickname. Sure, I'd love to try the nickname. How can I get a nickname? You want to send me a nickname? I'll definitely try it. Maybe put it on video. That'd be fantastic. When you do live streams, you should post it about 24 hours early. Let us know what you're drinking so it's possible to go do a social tasting. That is a good idea, Jonathan. Great idea. Yeah, this is like honestly more of a gear test. Like, does this live stream thing work? Like, do I actually have the right kit? And it seems like I have. But definitely for the next one, yeah, I want to give everyone a bit more notice. Actually, if you guys all give the video a like, then it should go to more people because it's been so like last minute. Then more can join the banter. How much experience do you have with bourbon? Some of my favorite. Bourbon is interesting. And I've sort of been jumping in and out of other bourbon channels on YouTube, but there's so many craft ones. And I feel like most of the whiskies we get here in New Zealand are like the big mainstream ones, like your Wild Turkey, your Buffalo Trace, your Elijah Craig. So if there's something you think that's kind of a popular whiskey and you think I should try, I definitely want to try it. But yeah, I really want to get into bourbon more, but it's kind of, I don't know why Scotch is so easy to get in New Zealand, get like real interest in Scotches, but not bourbon. And that's generally why my channel is kind of turned more towards Scotch because it's what I have more access to. But I do love bourbon. I do really love it. I love the sort of caramelly notes, the brown sugar notes that you get from bourbon. Oh, no nonsense whiskies here. Hey there. Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining my last minute stream. Good to make sure you guys go and follow No Nonsense Whiskey. So he did a video recently of his like top whiskies. No, what was it? His whiskey collection. And it's like this 45-minute epic, and he goes through all of them. And honestly, I was just completely drawn in the entire time. So go watch that after this or something. And yeah, I'm sort of thinking tomorrow I might do a stream. I don't really know the schedule with whiskey YouTubers, so I don't want to like interfere with other whiskey YouTubers. But I'm thinking I'm gonna go live tomorrow night and go through my collection. It's a lot smaller than No Nonsense Whiskies collection, but it might be interesting for some of you about why I bought certain whiskies and why I got them and that sort of thing. Where is what do we got? Just bought 1 hour ago, batch 1 and 2. Oh, nice. Melissa, hi. Wondering if you enjoy Redbreast. I do enjoy Redbreast. It's good. I don't actually have a bottle at the moment, and I haven't actually had it in about a year. I went to an Irish whiskey tasting last year, and yeah, I think that was my favorite at that tasting. I definitely want to get another bottle because I'm sort of starting to forget some of those notes I was getting. But Redbreast is fantastic Irish whiskey. Done. I don't care about seasons. I'm from Brazil and drink Vogue 10 cast strength and hot summer here. So that's fantastic. That's great. Great to have people watch you from Brazil. What time is it in Brazil now? That reminds me, I always was kind of confused. Like when I went to Vietnam and stuff, they all eat spicy food. And I'm like, why are you guys not all having smoothies and ice drinks? And they're all having like spicy, amazing food though. Like probably my favorite. Vietnam and Italy, probably my favorite places in terms of like value for money and great food, no matter wherever you go. Those two places. But yeah, and maybe it's the same in Brazil. Is it because just have a few Lafroigs, sweat a little bit, cool yourself down? Yeah. And what do we got? Season is nothing, mood is everything. Yeah, but I do feel like season plays into the mood. And in New Zealand, we have our season of summer. So you got to think our Christmas and New Year is in summer, it's not in winter. And everyone takes their holidays around summer, and there's this whole culture around it. People go to the beach, and there's this whole summer atmosphere. People have Coronas and white wine and stuff. So there is kind of a mood that it kind of puts you in the mood of like, I just want something refreshing and it's hot and stuff. So that's kind of my thing. But obviously, just drink whiskey the way you want to drink it when you want to drink it. There's definitely no rules around it. Whereas in wintertime, I do love a good hearty. It was a bit like when I lived in London as well. In summer, I was going for gin and tonics. And then in winter, I was going for like a big dark stout, like a Guinness or some sort of craft stout or something, because it just like fills you up and it's like a meal. And it's just, what do we got? Hi from UK. Enjoy the channel. Hey, Barry. How's it going? Yeah. And as I've said before, I used to live in the UK for about 4 years, and I'm really thinking about you guys at the moment. It's tough. My wife worked in healthcare actually in the UK as well, so she actually knows what it was like in the hospitals and what it'll be like now. It'll just be crazy. So really thinking about you guys. I can't wait to go back to the UK. I really do. It's my second home. Yeah, and that's what got me into whiskey was the UK. Scotland. It drew me in. Love Redbreast. Don't worry about schedule, my man. You do you. Okay, sweet. All right, I might just do it tomorrow. Live stream about this time tomorrow. I'm going to live stream at my collection. Hey, I'm the only one, but the guy who's in the south. Hey, how's it going? Who was in the south hemisphere? Yeah, are you guys all in the northern hemisphere? Oh no, there was an Australian in before. Redbreast 15 was magnificent. What I need to do is go get some really nice Irish whiskies and things like that, the Redbreast 15 and stuff. There's a guy in New Zealand who does these whiskey tastings that I go to. I'm going to one next month called Eat, Smoke, Drink. And he's actually on YouTube called Eat, Smoke, Drink. And he like reviews the most hardcore whiskeys you'd ever seen. And he like pairs up cigars and stuff. And he's fantastic. His channel, like the absolute, he's like these, what was I saying? Yeah, he reviews like whiskeys that you probably could never ever buy, but it's quite interesting. Anyway, he has these tastings. It's sort of like we'll put pitch in money so then we can buy sort of whiskeys that are slightly more expensive. So it's a really great way to try whiskeys that no one's really tried before. You can try. I don't know if that'll make sense. Oh, thanks, No Nonsense Whiskey. He's giving me £5. Cheers to you. Cheers to No Nonsense Whiskey. Make sure everyone. He's fantastic channel, No Nonsense Whiskey. I like your approach as well. Like it's not. It's kind of a humble, sort of laid back approach, and I just really appreciate it. So cheers to No Nonsense Whiskey. Make sure you go subscribe to him if you're watching this now. If you're watching this on the replay. What else we got? Anyone into Indian? Anyone here at Indian whiskey? So, in terms of summer whiskey, that actually brings me to a point. Indian whiskey. So, I'm just going to quickly go through some of my favorite summer whiskies. The Glenkinchie, what I've already talked about. Glenmorangie, Nectar d'Or. I've sort of talked about this on the channel before. Roy talked about this a few years ago, and I only realized this recently, but it actually is non-chill filtered on the box. I think people assume it's not, but it actually is. It says, non-chill filtered, which I didn't actually realize. So the Glenmorangie Sauterne is 46% and non-chill filtered. Great, it's the ancient Sauterne cask. If no one knows what Sauterne is, it's this wine in Bordeaux in France, and it's like super sweet dessert wine, pineapple-y. And so what you're getting those pineapple-y notes, and they're aging it in some of those barrels. So really good summer whiskey. Then you can kind of see the pina colada sort of thing. Green Spot, apples, really good Irish whiskey. Great in the summertime. I posted about this on Instagram recently. First Fill Whiskey. yeah, this is a really fantastic go-to some whiskey. It's bottled at 40%, so it's not too powerful. So I don't feel bad about putting this with ice as well. If it's hot, it's humid. The Thompson whiskey. This is a really interesting whiskey, and I guarantee most of you have probably never heard of this. This is a New Zealand whiskey. There's a couple of New Zealand whiskies starting up at the moment. There's Thompson and then Cadrona. Cadrona is the one you should really watch out for, because I think a lot of you, like the people who work at the distillery, are like ex-Scotsmen and stuff, and it's like in the mountains. And if you ever visit New Zealand, that's the one to go visit. But Thompson as well. They're based in Auckland, and this is aged in Manuka wood, which is like this native plant. And so it's hard to describe the taste of Thompson. It's still very young. I will say that it's still very young, still a little bit sharp. So I'm interested what it'll be like in 10 years. Yeah, it's a you almost get this like a varnished wood from it, but it's very light. You're getting this a few like salty notes and stuff, and salty fish and that sort of thing, smoked fish. Yeah, that's a great whiskey. And anyway, someone was asking about Indian whiskey. This one here, so I've just done a video about Indian whiskey, which we have to go watch. I'm still cutting it at the moment, so you have to go watch it. And I did the other ones, Paul John Amaret. But of those whiskeys, and I'll let you guys know now, this was my favorite one, the Rampur or the Rampura. Is anyone from India know how to pronounce this properly? The Rampura. And this one, I've never had a whiskey that has given me this much tropical notes before. Like, I mean, it's still young, but compared to the Paul John and the Amaret, both of those, because it's in a hot climate, it's similar to Tennessee and Kentucky. It means that not a hot climate, high humidity, low humidity. When it's dry on the outside of the cask, it pulls the water out. When it's humid on the outside of the cask, it's the alcohol that comes out first. So places like New Zealand and Scotland, the ABV will drop over the years. Places like India, Tennessee, Kentucky, the ABV will go up because the water will be the one evaporating. And so some of them, they age extra fast. They say it ages like 3 times as fast as a normal Scotch barrel. So some can be a little bit sharp. This one, not so much. This one, so this is probably my favorite summer whiskey, the Rampura. It's bottled at 45%, but it's a 750 ml bottle, which is really interesting. It comes in like this bag, which is kind of cool. It's a pretty cool bag. There's the bottle. And I was really surprised by it because it's just, let's put it here so you guys can see it. It has, I've never, it's just like passion fruit and mango, like smoothie, like, it's so nice. I don't think I'd ever drink this in winter though. But it's like, I feel like years ago, I went to Samoa on this for our honeymoon, and we had like a whole lot of cocktails and stuff. And this just like when I drink it, you need that mind association. It takes you straight back to, takes me straight back there because of all those like fruit. We like every morning at breakfast time we'd have mangoes and we'd have passion fruit, and that's exactly what you're getting with this. Non-chill filtered. It's interesting. I don't know if anyone else had it. I reckon it would be. I reckon it would be a little bit contentious among people. So, say my wife like doesn't like mango and she doesn't like pineapple and that sort of thing. So, if you don't like those fruits, you might not like this whiskey. But if you're like, you love some tropical mango, you love a good mango smoothie. I mean, it's a good one. And then my other summer go-to whiskey at the moment has been the Deanston, and this is just my go-to. The thing about this is not so much a summer whiskey; it's more like a whiskey throughout the year, is because you can have this no matter what. And so I've been drinking this too. So these are the ones I've sort of been going to. I'd say in order of what I've been going to. Recently, it's been this number 1, the Rampura. It's been Glenkinchie number 2. It's been Green Spot number 3. Oh no, Deanston number 3. this is just in terms of what I've been grabbing on the shelf. Like over the summer, just it's not saying what's the best whiskey. I'm just saying what I've been reaching for. Glenmorangie, and then probably Thompson. Thompson's it's really interesting, and it's a really fascinating one, and I recommend you try it. But it doesn't have that sort of Moorishness that this is the name one has. If I missed some comments, I don't know when my battery's going to die. By the way, I could just suddenly cut out, and if I do, that's the end of the live stream. And I hope you have a great night, evening, morning, wherever you are. What do we got here? I had a sample of an porter, and it was young but spicy, like a version of the garam masala. Did you have the double cask one? Because I know there's other expressions. It is spicy. I don't know, a little bit spicy, I guess. What else have we got? Yes, Paul John, great Indian whiskey. Isn't it always summer down under? Richard, you're thinking of Australia. It's always summer in Australia. Like their winters are like 25 degrees. It's too hot for me. It's just too hot. No, I'm not actually 25. I don't know. Australia's a big place. It's it's like the size of the United States. So, but still, even the lowest part, Tasmania, is only about the same climate as the North Island of New Zealand. Hey, from Scotland. Hey, Whiskey Bible. How's it going? Good to have you in from Scotland. I love your country. It is amazing. You do great things. You'll make great whiskey. Best whiskey. It's not Jonathan. It's Irish Pure Pot Still. Is that? Maybe it's some comment I made before. I can't remember what was it. And it's the Nectar of the Gods. Irish Pure Pot Still. I haven't had that. I've had Vintage Select. Oh, interesting. Is that the Glenmorangie Nectar? Yes, that's Glenmorangie Nectar. It's aged in Saltern casks. It's a wine from Bordeaux in France. That's like a dessert wine. Most of Bordeaux, there's like two banks. There's there's the what is it? West East Bank. One does mostly Merlot, one does mostly Cabernet Sauvignon. But down in the corner, you get a bunch of vineyards that do these like desserty wines called Sauterne, and they age it in Sauterne. They finish it in Sauterne. They age in an oak barrel. I think if they just age it in Sauterne, it'll be very, very sweet. I want to try the Jensen so bad. I've tried to get it this year, and they can't keep it in stock in my area. Yeah, it has come pretty popular. I was pretty lucky to get it. I think there's this guy in New Zealand who orders Scotch and he knows all the distilleries or something. So somehow we seem to get a decent amount of Scotch for how far away we are. So I got this bottle recently. But yeah, it's been sold out for a long time. Over Christmas, I was meant to get this at Christmas time. I couldn't get it. Ben's in. My bro Ben is in from Australia. He's watching along, hanging out with his snakes and his what else you got? Box jellyfish, sharks. No, it's not actually that dangerous. Australia's a great place. I do love Australia. I want phonetically. Yeah, so that's the thing. I don't really know. Like, does Indian whiskey, do they roll the R's? Like, because in New Zealand, the Māori language from they roll their R's, similar to Japanese actually as well. They roll not roll their R's, sort of that tōronga. So I don't know. I was watching another video somewhere and they pronounced it. They were like rampura, or was it just rampur? I don't know. You can just say it how you want, as long as you enjoy the whiskey. It's looking good, isn't it? Really crisp and welcoming. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. It is looking good. Glenn Kinchy is next on the list. Big fan of the set, by the way. Solid photographer. Thanks. Yeah, I did a bit of photography, landscape photography. Haven't really been able to do that since we had a baby last year in end of March, and that's kind of taken up all my time. So that's why I've actually, I took like a year off this channel, and I sort of stopped uploading because I wasn't too sure if I should do it or people would be that interested. But then, like in the background, these it was the single malt video. It just keeps getting comments like constantly. And I was like, oh, okay, maybe there's something here. But then I was sort of like, oh, I don't have enough time. But then lockdown came, and then I had enough time. And then so, yeah, that's why I kickstarted the channel again. And yeah, so I've now doing more of this than I am of my landscape photography. But I'd love to go do some landscape photography. If you're into landscape photography, you're into photos like the ones at the back, you can follow at Philip Gow on my Instagram. That's 2 hours and Philip and GOW. That's my last name. Yeah, it's cool. Got a couple of Deanston Virgin Oak 29 this past. Wow, that is a bargain. I assume that's US money, Ted. Really enjoying. Congrats on the kid. Content is solid, dude. Thanks so much. Yeah, our little girl. She's fantastic. She's just she's so great. She's got to the point where she's just crawling around the house. So all my whiskies had to go on up because she wants to grab all of it at the moment. But yeah, thanks very much. I've been enjoying the high quality videos you've been producing. I hope you continue on. What's your go-to blended Scotch? Do you have one? I'm in grad school, so budgeting is vital. Good question. Go-to blended Scotch. Monkey Shoulder's not bad. Blended Scotch, there's two worlds. There's like, it's getting hot now. It's summer. All these lights. Let's put this fan on. There's sort of two worlds. There's like the really extreme, amazing blended Scotches, like you get from Compass Box, like you get from Douglas Lang independent bottlings, but they are much more expensive. But for you want something a bit more cheaper. So you're probably wanting, Monkey Shoulder is a good go-to. I got bought this bottle of, where is it? I got bought this bottle of Ballantine's 12. It's okay. It's not offensive in any way. It's all right. It's not bad. I'd probably go Monkey Shoulder over that. That one I do really like with ice and that sort of thing. Monkey Shoulder. Anyway, what do you guys think in the comments? I mean, all these people, there are probably a lot of you in the comments who are absolute whiskey geeks, and you can probably give some good suggestions as well for someone who wants a blended Scotch and their budgeting is vital. Oh yes, no, there are some single malts that are very cheap. Deanston Virgin Oak, that's a good choice. I don't know if Auchtertosh might be where you are. That's often quite cheap. Is there anything you can't get out there, by the way? Always happy to send stuff out if you can't get in your end. Oh, thanks. What can I get? It's actually not bad in New Zealand. I think because a lot of Scots people have moved to New Zealand and stuff. There seems to be some good connections. I don't know. The distributors seem to get hold of a good amount of stuff. You know what? I can't, as I was talking before earlier in the stream, Talisker 57 North. I could not get that anywhere in New Zealand. It just doesn't seem to come here. I really want to have another go at that because about 4 years ago I tried that and I was like, this is fantastic. But then your palate changes and often you go back and you're like, oh, it's actually not as good as I thought. Or, your palate changes and maybe, it was good starting out, but not now. Compass Box King Street can be found cheap. Oh, can it? There you go. So lots of good suggestions about what you can get. Naked Grouse around $30. We're 35 watching now. That happened. So basically I think is there anything else you guys want to talk about? Any questions about the summer whiskies I go to and that sort of thing? Otherwise, I might see you. Sweet. Yeah, I will drop you a DM. That'd be great. Thank you very much. Thank you. Sam Cass. I love Monkey Shoulder. Good on you, Sam. Yeah, me too. Cool. Well, tomorrow, I think I'm going to do another stream. I'm going to talk about what's in my whiskey collection in total. We'll go through them sort of based off No Nonsense Whiskies recent video, which is really fantastic. And so stay tuned for that. And I've also got 2 videos coming up. I've got an introduction to Indian whiskey where I talk all about Indian whiskey, and also a video about independent bottlings, what are independent bottlings. Because when you get into the Scotch, there's sort of this point where you're learning about single malts and difference between blended and single malt whiskey. And And then you get to the point where then you're like independent bottlings, and it's like a whole new world, and it all gets suddenly all very confusing again. And so I'm going to do a video about independent bottlings, talking about what they are. So some of them that have already been mentioned. Compass Box is like a blended. They do like blended kind of independent bottlings. The other ones like the Scotch Malt Whisky Society, which is like a club around the world. You've got all sorts of different ones. Yeah, Charles McLean drinks Johnny Walker 12 to relax, says a lot. Yeah, and I drink what's the one I go? Yeah, I mean the 101 bourbon I often drink, just ice to relax. So yeah, there's always like different whiskies for different moments. And so yeah, it's not, sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, I don't really like blended whiskey, like certain brands of blended whiskey. But then other times in the right moment, I'm like, with a bit of ice, it's fine. Like it's good. It's good. I'm enjoying it. I prefer it over a beer. What do we got here? So between the Glenkinchie and the Rampura, you get a lot of those malty kind of notes from this, the barley, the malted barley. And then, yeah, you're just getting full fruit and power from the Rampura. So I'll finish those off soon. Anyway, how much cask strength on the go? What about the Octomore? Do you guys want me to open the Octomore? Octomore cask strength. Someone earlier in the video was asking about, we're talking about cask strength whiskies and saying what my favorite whiskies were. And this is definitely one of my favorites. I know it'd be a bit controversial. Some people think it's overpriced, but I think it's absolutely fantastic. If you're into peated whiskey, this is a good one to go to, the Octomore. It's a little bit more expensive, but it's peated at a real high parts per million. It's 208 parts per million, this one. Which one? This is the 7.1. This is the last Octomore to be made when what's his name? Jim McEwen. It's the last one Jim McEwen did when he was still there, when he was still head of Broderick Lady. Absolute better, 139. Okay, so a little bit less. Oh, that's good. I'm getting like just like smoky bacon, and then just those peat fumes, like just the sort of like a smoked fish, like when it's in the smoker. You know, when you open up a smoker and the smoke comes out when you're smoking fish or something. It's the Octomore now. I have opened it. It's right here. Big question: have you got any English whiskey yet? No, I haven't had any English whiskey, I don't think. There's heaps of distilleries opening up, right? And I think you mentioned this in a few of your videos. I'm very keen to get my hands on English whiskey. English whiskey is whiskey hard to get in New Zealand. Probably the same getting New Zealand whiskey in England. I would love to try more New Zealand whiskey, more English whiskey. What have I missed? Black Label is decent blend. I actually haven't had the Black Label, to be honest. I haven't had it, so I can't really say, but that sounds good. Have you tried Dalwhinnie 15? Yeah, Dalwhinnie 50 is good. It's approachable. It's bottled a lot of strength, I think. I had a mate who had it, and we drank a lot of it. Real easy drinking. It was really nice. Got an Indie 6-year-old. Got an Indie 6-year-old Kalila on the go right now. Nice. Kalila is a really good. It's another smoky whiskey from the Isle of Islay. Really good. It's a sister distillery to Lagavulin. So if you like Lagavulin without kind of the sort of sherry notes and the 16, often the Kalila is really nice. It's good. It's a little bit it's a bit more subtle, but yeah, it's a really good to go to. I haven't had the 6-year-old though, so I imagine that actually be more smoky than the older ones. I think if you drop the sound after the last R, so Rampur. Thoughts and Jam Castmate Stout. Oh, I haven't had that. Sam said, what's your thoughts on Jameson Castmate Stout? I haven't had it in so long. So I had that about 2 years ago. I'm going to have to try another one to tell you what I think. I remember quite liking it at the time, though. What do the numbers signify in an Octomore bottle? Oh, sorry. So Octomore does sort of batches. So every sort of, I don't know, people could correct me on this, but 12 every sort of, I think, year they release a new batch. So this is a 7.1. So this one was flight from 20. They released this bottle 2018, I think. And then each following year they released one. So then the 8 came out, then the 9 and 10, and they do different versions. But so each batch is going to be quite different. It's a little bit more like vintages and wine. So you're going to get a slightly different Octomore. And that's what someone else was saying in the comments. Like he was saying his 11.1 he like absolutely loves. So the 11.1 could be quite different to my 7.1. And, you know, it might be slightly smoky, but a little bit more complex or something, or it might have more oak notes or something. Yeah, so that's what the numbers mean. It's aged 5 years. ppm 208 means that's sort of like the level of peat. It's like the scientific thing where they measure how much peat's parts per million in the bottle. So Lefroy has about, was it 20 to 40 parts per million? This is 208. So massive smoky whiskey. Had the Aaron 10. Aaron 10 is fantastic. Fantastic. I love Aaron. I'm aboard the hype train, you know. Everyone's like, Aaron's amazing. I'm like, yeah, Aaron is amazing. Aaron is a great whiskey. You know, you sort of don't really want to like just agree with everyone else, but Aaron Distillery is fantastic. I bought a bottle a long time ago. I don't think they do the 12 anymore. It was a cask strength 12, and that was honestly still one of my favorite whiskeys I've had, like in terms of, you know, not super expensive ones, but like just like my go-to whiskeys. That was absolutely fantastic. I'll just show you the bottle. If you can see that. I'm not focusing. There you go. Anyway, that's an older bottle. And here's the Octomore in terms of the numbers, if you want to see. Yeah, 5 years, 7.1. All right. I should probably one complaint about product label bodies, you can't see how much whiskey. Yeah, that's true. I have no idea how much whiskey's left in this bottle, so I don't know why they make it black. Like, can't they just do something cool where maybe there's a nice black strip or something? I agree. I don't like how it's just full black. I mean, it's cool. Looks good on the shelf. But yeah, it would be nice to see how much whiskey is left in the bottle. I think, yeah, No Nonsense also talked about if it just even just has strip, just have a clear strip down the side, just like that, and then you'll know how much whiskey is left. A few new distilleries opening in Scotland too. Tried the first batch of Nick Neen recently. It was great. Pronounce Nishna'een. 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 How do we get used to that? Yeah, there's so many whiskies opening up. Like in the lowlands, there's heaps at the moment. I think there's 2 in Isla. I think Aaron's now getting a sister one on the other side of the island as well. There's so many distilleries in Scotland. It's funny, all these around the world, there's all these distilleries opening up. But also there's lots of distilleries opening up in Scotland as well. Yeah. Finos for days. All right. I might need to... Yeah, Aaron 10's... Brudiclady is a great distillery. Yeah, and I imagine Brudiclady features in that new film that's come out, The Water of Life. It seems like that's like the main story, the story of Brudiclady. It's a really interesting story. It's shut down, and then Jim McEwan and another guy came in and kind of revived it, and it's a really interesting story, that movie that's just come out. Lammermoor Distillery in Dunedin, NZ launched their first whiskey last month. Yeah, I haven't tried that. And I haven't tried the 1919 one either. Only 100 bottles to start off with, and a fancy bottle. Very expensive, but I was actually very surprised. It's in my top five. Wow, that's pretty good. Yeah, I'm really excited about the future of whiskey in New Zealand. I hope it gets to where wine is now around the world. Like New Zealand wine's become quite a big thing, and I hope that, yeah, New Zealand whiskey becomes the same. It becomes like its own little niche product, and we choose something that we're really good at, and that kind of becomes that profile of New Zealand, and everyone gets to try New Zealand whiskey because we've got the climate for it. Like, honestly, Dunedin, the streets in Dunedin, which is in the South Island of New Zealand, if you know the names of the streets in Edinburgh, you know the names of the streets in Dunedin. Like, all the streets are named after, the city is based after Edinburgh. So if you want a place of Scottish heritage, and then the rugby team is called the Highlanders. So they've got a huge Scottish influence. It's where all the Scots came early on in New Zealand's history. Like, Dunedin's the place that we went, and so you got a couple of distilleries there. You got, it sounds like that new one, and then you've also in Otago, which is like the province. You've got the Cadrona as well, really fantastic one, and they're doing it, taking it really seriously. There's stills they put like millions of dollars in. It's going to be really interesting. I'm on good authority to pronounce Brook Lady. Brook Lady? Don't they roll the R or something? Brook Lady? Brook Lady. Brook Lady. I got used to that as well. Did Aaron win Ralphie's best whiskey? Yes, Aaron won. Aaron 10 won Ralphie's best whiskey of the year. Ralphie is a YouTuber. He's like been doing it for 10 years. He's one of the big known ones. He sort of sits, he doesn't use like anything fancy, no fancy editing, but he knows a lot about whiskey. So that was his whiskey of the year, Aaron 10. His whiskey of the year last year was the Deanston 12, also fantastic. And then before that was the Glenallachie 12, if you want to know what his favorite like go-to good value whiskeys are. I've pronounced, oh, that's how you pronounce it, right? Top 5 because the flavor is very unique. So many Japanese I've tried just taste like Scotch. Yeah. I understand what you're saying there. It's Brook Laddie. Echo videos, whiskey pronunciation videos. Recommend check them out. Yeah, good idea. I should go watch that. For my terrible New Zealand accent, where we just combine all our vowels. Do you guys know? Have you heard the differences between? I'm drinking a beer. There's a grizzly beer, and I've got beer foot. So, can you tell the difference? There's not really a difference. Whereas in the UK, I think it was bear, drinking a bear. I don't know. Anyway, what am I talking about? Do you follow watch any other whiskey YouTubers? Who among them do you think are the closest or similar to your palate? I think Aquavitae, similar palate. I think he likes more the malty direction than the sweet direction. I don't mind the sweet direction so much. Aquavitae, Roy from Aquavitae, Aquavitae. He's sort of like the Gandalf of whiskey YouTubers at the moment. He does like these big live streams. He's the Gandalf Joe Rogan almost of whiskey. Who else has a similar palate to me? Not sure. Most of the people on YouTube pretty much drink thousands of whiskeys, so I feel like they just like most whiskeys. Yeah. Roy likes Campbelltown whiskey and Rose and Deanston nonstop. Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does love the Deanston. I do love Deanston as well, though. Pure Pete. Phil, if you're from Wellington, I'd love to have a dram or two with you, chat about whiskey. That would be fantastic. I would love to chat about whiskey. Always up for a dram. Definitely. Lance Alban. Flick me an email, firstphilwhiskey@gmail.com, and then just so then we've got contact. And then if I do come down, I'm often doing shoots and stuff around the country. So, John Drinks. Yeah, John Drinks. Yeah, he's got some good reviews. Anyway, I think I've been going on long enough. I've been going just talking nonstop about all sorts of things. But thanks very much for following along. Thanks very much for listening to me. I didn't really spend most of my time actually talking about summer whiskies, but I did at one point. But yeah, thank you for watching my first live stream. It's been really good. You guys joining me here. It's been great just bantering about whiskey. This is kind of what I wanted. And tomorrow night, I'm hoping to do another whiskey. I'm going to talk about all the whiskeys on my shelf, what's in my whiskey collection 2021. So look out for that. Should be around the same time. Be good to have you back. And yeah. And it's been fantastic. It's been good chatting with you all. I hope to see you all again soon. I've got 2 videos coming out. There's a video about introduction to Indian whiskey and a video about independent bottlings, like an introduction to independent bottlings and talking about the different types and stuff, which is good to talk about as well. It's been fantastic talking to you guys. It's been really good. But above all, make sure you share and enjoy. Beauty.